Testing 1, 2, 3. This is John Wren. This is the Startup Show. We're here each Friday at noon Mountain Daylight Time here in our world headquarters in Denver, Colorado, right across from the University of Denver, right by the University Light Rail stop. If you'd like to be on the show with us, give me a call Monday or Tuesday. We can have you on next Friday if you want to talk about what you're doing. If not next Friday, some Friday following. But give me a call. We'll schedule a date. If you're willing to share your startup experience, life's too short for any of us to just learn from our own experience. So we try to facilitate sharing one-to-one, small groups, and here online about how startup really works. And you can call me if you want to be on the show next Friday or some following Friday, 303-861-1447. Well, the Startup Show, we've been doing this for a long time. It preceded the Idea Association. I was on a TV station nobody ever watched, I didn't think, until I went off, and then people said, "Where'd you go?" I think we had more of an audience than we realized, but it was on Channel 53 for, I don't know, not quite a year. And then I had 2 or 3 commercial broadcast radio programs, and when I get on a station, the entire station would go off the air. So I finally quit. And when the internet came back, I thought, well, maybe I'll give this another try. So here we are, and we're still tinkering. If you have ideas on what we could do to make this work better, I'm glad to hear from you for those purposes too. And we're sponsored by the Small Business Chamber of Commerce, Inc. We'd like to help you do more good work, and we do that through our Small Business Chamber Startup Method, comprised of 4 practices: bounce, recovery, getting back on your feet. There's a process usually that precedes startup, which is very often not good. They say good boxers come out of the gutter, and it's a little bit like that with entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship as a hobby is a terrible hobby. And I know from personal experience that if you are not 100% focused on the ball, which you are when you're in sort of a desperate situation, if you're not 100% focused, bad things can happen, and often do. So what's taught in every entrepreneurship program I'm aware of is sort of the accidental entrepreneur, doing it as a hobby. Before the Tea Party became a political term, I used to call it business by Tea Party. But it's still going on the same way, getting together, talking, it's kind of an excuse for a drinking party. Westward just came out with their Best of Denver issue. You can pick it up free all over town. And I have often wondered why they don't have a best help for startups category. And I realized today that is because there's not anything you'd consider best. They'd almost have to do the worst. And actually that could be a whole issue for them, not just in startup help, but in all kinds of, what's the worst restaurant in Denver? They've always done the best of. Why don't they have a worst of? Because I think there could be real competition for the bottom of the barrel. And I don't leave what I'm doing out of that. I think I've been floundering around for 20 years. I think I've helped a few people. I'm always try to be honest and upfront, except for the false facade. I was a student of Karl Rove. I was state chairman of the Colorado College Republicans when he was national chairman. And Karl Rove used to talk about building a facade and then running around like crazy behind the facade to build the actual building before the facade fell down. And that's what I've been doing for 20 years. I don't know how much longer. And I'm not sure even the facade has gotten built, to tell you the truth. I think most people see through it. My brother thinks people don't realize when I say Small Business Chamber of Commerce, Inc., that it's pretty much just me and 8,000 friends. I do have 8,000 Facebook friends. They come from time. It's a fairly active Facebook site. Right now through April 15th, you can still become a member if you just go to that Facebook page, Small Business Chamber divided with period, small period, chamber period, small business chamber, small period, business period, chamber on Facebook or on Twitter at Idea Cafe. And get to our website, www.smallbizchamber.org. It's free to join until April 15th. And after April 15th, it might still be free to join, but it might not if we figure out a way to try to monetize this so more people get interested in it. Today, I want to talk about how to start and I think this is a great idea. You're going to want to get a pad, a pencil, write these things down. I'm going to talk about how to start a political campaign. I've been involved in many campaigns, from presidential to student government, and I won a student government election by 1 vote because I had a poll watcher. And there are a lot of little things you can do in a campaign that make a big difference like that. So if you're thinking of running for student government office, if you're thinking of running for president of the United States, and who knows, this year you might actually have a chance, you're going to want to write these things down. So here they are. Number 1, call me and volunteer for what we're doing here in Colorado. You can do it in Colorado, but you can do it long distance too. We need people to help us with phone calls. We're trying to save the caucus, and then we're going to have a crusade for the caucus. What we're seeing now in the presidential race would not be happening if our bipartisan system that served us so well since 1776, it almost instantly divided into 2 groups, really more so after George Washington became president by unanimous acclaim. They start thinking about the next election, and there starts, Washington, Jefferson, a lot of them would have preferred no political parties, but they saw that Alexander Hamilton would win every election unless they organized an opposition party. And those, you can see, it's changed forms from time to time, but you can see those 2, you need 2 parties to thoroughly examine any given issue. There needs to be a conservative party that has to do with, let's keep things the way they are. I'm pretty happy. Things are going pretty well. Let's keep them the way they are. To the other side, they've co-opted the name liberal. Some people would say the conservatives are more liberal if they spend time with the great books and pursuing things with leisure time, that it might actually open their minds up more than the person that is pressed by day-to-day business sometimes can't think very liberally. But the other side of things has to do with change. And change, gets mistaken as a liberal idea. Not really. If you look at what Socrates was arguing for, he was arguing for more stability. The equivalent of our tech people had come along, and there was less reason for people to believe in God. And Socrates saw the terrible impact this was going to have on their society, and sure enough, it did, especially on him when he drank the hemlock. So, he was very much in favor of marriage. He said, yes, get married by all means. If it's a good marriage, you'll be happy. If it's not a good marriage, you'll be a philosopher. So maybe that's one reason I'm involved in something called Socrates Cafe. I'll tell you how you can attend in just a minute. You may want to write that down. But the number 1 thing, how to start a career in politics, call me. Talk one-on-one. Every situation, every person is just a little bit different. So how you should start depends on where you are. Now, I'll try to co-opt you into some of my mad schemes, and you can resist that. They're almost always just volunteer things, free open meetings where we just ask you to contribute your ideas, your thoughts. But call me and let's talk. I don't think you can talk, get on a chat room. You can't, don't get together with your parents, whatever you do. I did that one time. I had a chance to, Betty Ann Dittamore asked me to run for her seat. She would have supported me. And I talked to my parents about it. Big mistake, maybe, I don't know. But looking at myself personally back then, maybe, it's good I didn't run, but I could have. And then somebody else wanted to run. Betty Ann said, if you want to do it, I'll support you, but I'm going to support them if you don't really come into this. And so I backed out because I talked with them. Don't talk to your parents. Call me. 303-861-1447. Call me if you want to start a career in politics. Call me if you want to start a new business, a new project, a new campaign. Maybe you're already an office holder. You want to campaign again, but call me. Good possibility I can help you or connect you with someone else who can. Also call me if you'd like to be one of those helper people, if you'd like to get involved in a campaign. And we're going to try and formalize this and be of more real help. But westward, you know, I looked at this issue, all kinds of restaurants, leisure time activities, and you know, there needs to be something like this. I guess maybe the Denver Business Journal does it a little bit, but they look at the largest, the most clients. I'm not sure that's a good way to measure best. As a matter of fact, some of those big firms probably should be at the bottom. Maybe somebody calling me right now. I'm sorry if that's you calling. We're on the air. I can't talk right now, but call me back. I say call me Monday or Tuesday. Those are the best times to catch me. Pretty much anytime. I get up early. I work late. If you leave a full message on the recorder, I'll get back to you by that evening for sure. So call me. If that was you, try it again Monday or Tuesday, 303-861-1447. So number one, call me, start a career in politics. Number two, get involved. And there are two state conventions coming up, Republican and Democrat in Colorado. And there are similar activities all over the country. Google the name of your preferred political party, Republican or Democrat. People say, well, what are you, John? Well, I've been a Republican, as I told you, Karl Rove. I've been a Democrat. I've been a volunteer at all levels as a Democrat. I've been on the executive committee. I've done all the duties that you can do. I've been a candidate in both parties. So I understand how the process works. But right now I'm unaffiliated because I want to help people in both parties. My vision, what I'm trying to do is to find candidates who want to make sure that this country doesn't become just an exercise in conspicuous consumption. Thurston Veblen, the economist, University of Chicago, my economics professor, had him as an instructor, and he was a little bit of an odd duck. He used to put the better students in the front of the class, and then he'd almost whisper, because he didn't want the people that weren't good students to even hear what he was saying. And but one of his ideas was conspicuous consumption, and I think he was right on the money, is that, you know, we get caught up in spending not to fill a real need, but just to show people how much money we have, and that is killing us. And I am now unaffiliated. I think I'm the only person that should be, because the only way to run against the rich and powerful is to be affiliated with a strong political party. And it's important we have two strong political parties. That's not the case right now, but I believe they can be revived. And that's what we're working on. It's going to be almost a crusade for the Colorado Caucus. Once we get it saved here, back on its feet, I think it can become our biggest export. I wanted to do this back in 2002 when we saved the caucus, fighting Amendment 29. But nobody else wanted to do it. Everybody thought, well, no, the parties will do that. Well, the parties don't do it. Before Amendment 29, I wanted to do it. I went to Bill Armstrong one time. He said, well, you know, the parties really, they don't do it. So there needs to be a bipartisan group, sort of like the League of Women Voters. They used to do it, but they've gotten very caught up in backing various issues. And you really can't back issues, and we won't be either, except for this one issue, is we want to try to maintain a system where the average ordinary person has a chance to serve an elected public office. That's our one issue that we all are united on. And if that's you, call me Monday. We'll get started. But even before you call me Monday, pick a party and get involved. And if nothing else, flip a coin. Republican, Democrat, either one is a good megaphone. They're terrible for taking marching orders from. You know, the party bosses, the people on top, want party discipline. To a certain extent, you have to go along with things. But it's a chance for you to express yourself and lead to real change over time. You have to be in one of those two groups. Let's keep things the way they are. Let's go back to what we know has worked. Maybe that's what I'm doing in a way, because the caucus has worked for 100 years. However, with technology, it's continually reinventing itself. So we don't say, well, you know, we've tried this, that, or the other thing. for 100. 100 years is nothing in the lifetime of this earth. 100 years, we've just barely realized how well the caucus system works, and they want to kill it, get rid of it. Let's not take advantage of technology. Let's just go on. And this direct primary, just going in and pulling a lever, is a fantasy. That's why things are so screwed up today. If all people do is watch TV and go in and vote, and they feel like they've done their civic duty because they get the little sticker that says, I voted, you know, they're not doing anybody any favors. They're being manipulated by those ads and the publicity, and, you know, they're doing the best. But get involved with one of the major political parties. Get involved. Do something. Then call me Monday, and let's talk about you eventually becoming a public office holder or helping other good people get elected. Call me Monday, 303-861-1447. This is sponsored by the Small Business Chamber of Commerce. We say the best networking activity is to get involved in politics. You do well by doing good through the political system. And Dwight Eisenhower is famous for saying that in our system of government, politics has to be the part-time occupation of every citizen. It goes well with owning and operating your own business because that gives you enough time to participate. That's my other passion, is trying to encourage people to start their own business. I don't think there's good help for that out there. If you have some connection with someone that has a business, that's your best place to go first. If you're desperate enough, call me. I mean, there's all kinds of activities that say how great they are, but I don't see any of them. You know, the more we talk about startup, the fewer startups there are. And I don't see that our success rate is going up either. Now they talk about unicorns. They're only going to start big businesses. Well, good luck. That's great work if you can get it. But it's probably something that you'd like to buy yourself as a consumer, or in your business right now, you see a need and you can't get anybody to listen to you. And you start a business and fill that need. Now, there's no market research. There's no careful strategic planning before your first sale. If you're doing that, it's business by tea party. You're going to crash and burn. I can almost guarantee it. But if you get an idea, you move on it, you get customers, money starts. Yes, you have to tidy up with the traditional business tools as you get underway. You have to get a good CPA, but you don't have to be an MBA to get the benefit of an MBA's thinking. But first, see if you can get some money coming in. Open a checking account. You can do a lot of it on your own. You may never need to talk to anybody. Steve Jobs. Now, on our Facebook page, we just posted Steve Jobs' 10 rules for success. This is over his lifetime. The guys put them together, and it's really worth watching. Go to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/small business chamber divided by periods. Or check out our website, www.smallbizchamber.org. And give me a call Monday morning, Tuesday morning, whenever you'd like to call, the first part of next week. If you'd like to be on the show, if you'd like me to help you get started in a political career, starting your new business. But, you know, one thing I know for sure, this life is very short. It's too short for any of us to learn from just our own experience. But experience is the best teacher. So let's go get started. Thanks for watching. See you next week, Friday at noon. Forward this to your friends. They'll thank you. I will too, if you'll let me know what you've done. Let's go get started.